Good evening, I'm JustVine, and this is Open Mic, where we discuss and analyze and practice some commentary of, well, lower level matches. Today we're going to look at some Necalli matches from our friend Dwulffe, and basically just figure out how he's doing and how he's improving. So today, our topic and focus is going to be familiarity. So obviously, at lower levels, and even at intermediate levels where you're like in gold and bronze, gold and platinum, you can end up with matches you just really don't have any of the matchup experience for. And this is partially because of how frequently people play those characters, how strong those characters generally are. There's lots of reasons why you may not have that much experience with certain characters, but in the end, it's mostly due to a lack of practice of some kind. So, Dwulffe has not played Necalli seriously in a little bit. So he's been, over the past week or two, dusting off his Necalli, getting used to his flow, and honestly, he's been getting a little better as a result, as a player. So we're going to look at this Bison match here. And obviously the Bison started out with a quick slide. So we can already tell that he's definitely the type that likes putting in a lot of pressure and getting close. You often want to look at where people spend their meter to figure out what sorts of things you need to worry about. Especially in the silver rank, that's when you start seeing people to really focus in on what they're going to use their meter for. And I've counted 2 EX head stomps now, so this Bison really likes staying up close.
Round 2. Fight.
Dwulffe himself hasn't been doing too bad either. The Bison, especially a close-in Bison, like Necalli, he doesn't have to worry about where he is on the screen as much to threaten you because of the way head stomp works. He has to pay a little more attention than Necalli, in my opinion, but they both can threaten the other at really long ranges.
And Bison wins.
So with a close-in Necalli, or a close-in Bison, basically what I feel is happening here, and let's just watch it again. I didn't really see Dwulffe getting an opportunity to zone out the Bison at all. But that's sort of a natural thing to happen, because Bison's close-in tools sort of cancel out some people's ability to zone. So Dwulffe is, in this first round, it's basically even. They're both having trouble keeping pressure on each other. But in the end, it looked like there was a few opportunities where Dwulffe could have gone further with his damage output than he technically did. But we know that Dwulffe has not played this Necalli in quite a while and needs a few extra levels in his combo ability. That was a ridiculous use of the Psycho Burst. I think he covered the entire screen. So definitely a close-in Bison.
And Bison wins.
So I know Dwulffe has lots of experience playing a Bison because I play against his Alex quite a bit with Bison. But because he's using a character matchup that he's not used to, because I know when he was playing Necalli in Season 1, he didn't run into that many Bisons, and I wasn't really playing Bison too extensively until fairly late in Season 1, and that's when he switched to Alex. So I know he doesn't have this matchup knowledge at all. And if you don't know the matchup, you can end up doing some pretty dumb things. I haven't seen anything overtly in this current set so far. But honestly, it's okay to do dumb things if you don't know the matchup, because you're not really going to figure out what's dumb until you do the dumb thing and you get destroyed for it. This Bison's pressure is really solid, though. But he's not really expecting Dwulffe to block at all. He's just doing things that he knows he can get lots of damage off of.
Round 2.
Bison's crush counter, his standing heavy kick, is really nice because it is safe. And if you do land it, you get lots of damage off of it. So there's almost nothing disadvantages about that attack other than, of course, it's a little slow, but a lot of heavy buttons are slow. So it's just one of the jerky things you get to do with Bison. Yeah, Dwulffe probably should not have backed off like that, because he wasn't going to gain anything from running away at that point. Let's watch that again. Necalli needs to be able to pressure people from wherever he wants. Necalli shouldn't have to worry about if you're far away and you want to do something. Because this guidance is relatively safe at the longer ranges. And is immune to most projectiles. Now obviously Bison doesn't have very many projectiles, but it's kind of like Scissor Kick in terms of how much range it can cover.
Round 2.
So they're fairly even in terms of how much space they can cover. But it looks like Dwulffe is having issue counter-pressuring the Bison. Because Bison gets to take his turn whenever he wants. So once it's his turn, he's going to just keep giving you problems until he can't anymore. But I did not see Dwulffe really take the opportunities that he could have. Like after his EX Rising Light, for example, I didn't see him try to apply pressure. I just saw him try to escape. So I know he's a zoner-ish sort of person, but on the other hand, I didn't really see him try to get in positions where he could zone either. And Necalli has really long buttons for certain attacks, so I'm fairly sure he could just, like, maybe use Heavy Punch to space people out, but I don't know. I often say really dumb things, so let me know if I have been saying anything incorrect. But we're going to move on to Cammy.
For those who I wish to protect, I will fight you!
Devour. Round one. Fight!
So Cammy, I know Dwulffe has a little more familiarity with. And part of the thing that familiarity lets you do is, honestly, it just lets you be more confident in what you're going to do. This may seem obvious and not really a useful thing to say, but it does affect the way matches can go. If a person doesn't have, if your opponent, for example, doesn't know that you have a way built into your character to stop your pressure string, for example. Like say they don't know that you have a 3-frame jab for whatever reason. This could cause them to just completely overdo their pressure. Even though their pressure string there was nothing wrong with it, they might end up thinking that the pressure string is wrong. When really you just didn't know that, oh, they have a 3-frame jab and can interrupt me at this one specific point.
Necalli wins.
For those who I wish to protect.
And you can end up completely underconfident about that pressure string, even if you do eventually figure out what the problem was for it. So part of what I feel would be useful for people who play at this level is basically to feel less bad and afraid to do things in matches that are just your normal way of functioning. And don't take too much stock in it if it doesn't work. Like, use a Buki bot to figure out if there's something weird with spacing, or
Round 2.
use Nikali bot to figure out if there's a problem with it not being safe or something. Do checks afterwards with either a bot or just regular training mode features to figure out if there was something weird about it. Because there's always weird things in this game. That's why it's complex. The matchup specific stuff can take you a really long time to figure out. And until you're like platinum, honestly. I know gold people who just have no idea what they're doing against matchups. But obviously they're there because they can play the game. But playing the game only gets you so far without matchup knowledge. So the point is, at this level, you really don't want to defeat yourself before you get the chance to figure out that something would be useful. Because it's really hard to get out of the habit of thinking that something is useless once you start getting the idea to. So overall, this Cammy has been pushing a little too hard. And Nikali just eats people up who like putting too much pressure on him. Especially if, as Dwulffe has been doing,
Those who I wish to protect.
knows when to use his DP and reset the whole situation.
Round 1. Fight.
This isn't as effective against Bison in terms of resetting pressure because Bison, like Nikali, has a lot of different places where he can pressure people from very far away. But Cammy, Cammy's only has like 2 real places she can come from at a far distance. She has her spiral arrow, and she has her hooligan roll. And while those can sort of be mix-uppy, they're generally not very safe to do unless she spends meter on it.
Round 2. Fight.
No. Yeah, I feel like Dwulffe could have won that. He just wasn't prepared to punish the whiffed CA. And he has full V-trigger throughout all of this, which is kind of confusing. Because I don't think Dwulffe knows V-cancel stuff. So it's kind of just sitting there being useless. Well, let's see what he does next match. Maybe that was just that one match. That is a good color on Cammy, though.
For those who I wish to protect, I will fight you.
Devour. Round 1. Fight.
There's a lot of jumping from Dwulffe that doesn't make sense to me. It feels like he's almost afraid to use Disc Guidance. Or Stomp, for that matter. Yeah. He's had plenty of opportunities to use his V-trigger too, so that might be something he wants to work on.
Round 2. Fight.
Because a lot of things change once Nikali's in V-trigger. And honestly, against this particular Cammy, I don't see a real need for his V reversal. There you go. And he started doing Disc Guidance a little more too, so maybe he just needed to go Super Saiyan, I don't know. Really needs to work on those combos though.
Final round. Fight.
Yeah, this Cammy is just keeps on getting pushed out of the range she needs to be at. And hasn't figured out a very good way to close in. You really should just go for a chip kill at that point. But she was sort of jumpy, so it would have been a little difficult to pin her down. Yeah, in the end, this Cammy just really had a difficult time being at the ranges Nikali pushed her out at. All right.
Well, ain't you a high-def picture of strength? I'm shaking here.
Devour. Round one. Fight. Round two. Fight.
So overall, this Ed is playing fairly decently. He's using Psycho Flicker pretty well in terms of making sure he's safe afterwards. And I do not think Dwulffe knows Ed well enough to know that while it is, I think it's like -3, -5, something like that. But you have to punish it with the light button if you're expecting them to press something afterwards.
Well, ain't you a high-def picture of strength? I'm shaking.
Round one. Fight.
So far, this Ed seems defensive pressure-y to me. But like Dwulffe, definitely seems to have some issues with how much he can combo and familiarity with his own buttons in terms of what he can follow up things with.
Fight.
Ed has an even harder time with that because even if he has some basic pressure strings and combos, not all of them work at the same at all ranges. But overall, a very basic Ed.
shaking here.
Round one. Fight.
Alright, it looks like Dwulffe is willing to pursue the Ed a little bit more. Which seems to be paying off for him fairly well.
Round two. Fight.
And he's getting a hang of Necalli's command throw for sure. Honestly, I don't know very many Necallis that do use his command throw well. But I'm pretty sure most Necalli players don't also have a grappler as a sub, so...
Final round. Fight.
But Dead type liked to back off a bit. So not giving him that breathing room really seems to be affecting the amount of options Dead type feels he has. A lot of the stuff Ed can do to punish people closing in on him like that are a little bit unsafe for him to do. There's obviously some safe options, but not very many. Ah, that would be why then. I don't really see much of Phenom's Necalli.
Necalli wins.
So overall, decent adaptation from Dwulffe. Yeah, Hytonian Gamer B mainly. There was one other one, but I forget who. I forget their name, but they also play a very pressure-y Necalli.
I'm shaking here.
Round one. Fight.
Alright. So it looks like the Ed has wised up a little bit to Dwulffe. He's starting to throw out buttons for anti-airing him. Dwulffe has been jumping in quite a bit on him. So, there we go. Which seems to be a plan that's working quite well for him.
Round 2. Fight.
Psycho Rising is a pretty nice button for punishing people who jump in at somewhat unsafe ranges. It doesn't really work on zoner type people who like jumping in with a really deep button from a very far away. You could end up whiffing or worse, really. But if you're jumping pretty close to him like that, yeah, Psycho Rising is a pretty good response to that. And now he gets to get all of the space he was wanting before, since Dwulffe seemed to have a little trouble figuring out what to do once he couldn't jump in as often. I would probably suggest to Dwulffe at this point to figure out if he is bothered by disguidance for some reason, or try to at least tinker around with it a little more, because it looks like he doesn't like using it at the ranges, at far away ranges for closing in. Which seems a little weird.
I am Rashid of the Turbulent Wind. Remember the name well.
Devour. Round 1. Fight.
Yeah, anytime I say he's not using it, he ends up using it randomly once and then never uses it again. Seems to be having trouble with Rashid's neutral jump pressure. Which...
Round 2. Fight.
I wonder if he was like... Well, we'll see further on. I wonder why he's expecting the grab. Because he was definitely trying to tech something there. What? Okay, that was pretty awesome on the Rashid's part. Yeah. I don't think Dwulffe is thinking about his B skill that much. But it was pretty apparent from this that he doesn't know the Rashid matchup. Thankfully, we'll be having Rashid bot up soon. That will be this week's bot, more or less. So you'll be seeing lots of Rashid. It doesn't look like he got a rematch. Oh well. Oh no, it's Bishonen Ed. Properly named Ever So Dashing. Oh no. Oh man, that name is horrible.
Well, ain't you a high-def
Oh
picture
man,
of strength?
okay.
I'm shaking here.
Best costume name combination, character combination ever. This is pretty great.
Lame.
Round 2. Fight.
He seems a little lost as to what to do at most spacings. Most people solve this by just ignoring spacing altogether and basically just pressuring people. But we know that Dwulffe is a zonerish type person. So he's probably looking for where he's supposed to pressure with his zoning tools. But just doesn't know what to do with them. Looks like he remembered his V-trigger once again, so hopefully that's not an issue and that was just him warming up.
Final round. Fight.
That also seems to be at really weird spaces. And clearly can't do his Psycho Flicker, which you need to learn how to do Psycho Flicker if you want to play it. You need to be able to do it flawlessly. And you need to be able to do it as a combo ender. Otherwise, you're going to have a really tough time with him. In fact, I would suggest you not really waste your time if you don't want to grind that particular part of that. It can make you really vulnerable. Thankfully, J-Chin went over how to do his Psycho Flicker and different ways to go about it, so if you want to learn how to do that, I highly recommend going into the Ultra Chin. Is it Ultra Chin archives or is it the J-Chins or archives on Twitch? Well, I know he put it on the Ultra Chin channel, so looking for it on YouTube is probably a better bet, but Yeah. Go to J-Chin if you want to learn how to do that, because it can be really frustrating as an Ed player if you can't do that move.
Well, ain't you a high-def picture of strength? I'm shaking here.
Round one. Fight.
Let's see you dance. Stay up. Psycho knuckle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, this Ed does not know when to use his crouching heavy punch, for sure. Because he could have done that there instead of Psycho Rising and be a lot safer than Psycho Rising makes you. It's definitely not a move you want to use that up close unless you know you're definitely going to hit. Good for jump-ins, not so much for neutral.
Oh man, down to the wire.
And honestly, if we took out all of the points where he got hit for being punished for doing weird Psycho Risings, he probably would have taken these a little more convincingly. He's got his B-trigger combo down pat, though. I cannot say anything bad about that. Unfortunately for Dwulffe, it looks like his spacing and ability to punish were just a little too off. We'll probably throw him at Edbot. It's a pretty decent bot to train with for that sort of thing. I want to look at that Rashid match again real quick, because I feel like I was missing something in it.
I am Rashid of the Turbulent Wind. Remember the name well.
Devour. Round one. Fight.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 2 neutral jump mix-ups, 3 neutral jump mix-ups that Dwulffe just didn't know how to respond to. Unfortunately, bots don't really help much with neutral jump wake up mix-ups. They're just it's just too specific a function. We can probably make a bot for it, but for now we've just mostly been trying to get bots that are close to specific matchup stuff that'll come up commonly online. But at this level, if you can't handle the neutral jump wake up stuff, you're gonna get a lot of damage. It's frustrating to deal with it because it's a lot of weird pressure that doesn't feel like it should work. And honestly, it feels a little unfair too if you don't know how to deal with it. Because, oh, they can just jump and hit a nice air button and I can't do anything about it. That's basically what it comes down to. But if you know to block, to standing block more specifically, if they do that one every time, just trust in that. Trust that they'll do that. They'll hit that one button. And if you're a Shoto player, then use your reversal on wake up every time until they stop doing silliness like that. And if you're not, I personally find jumping back tends to help, because even if you, like, get hit by it, you're at least not in that pressure situation where they can do really big damage. So it's sort of worth taking the hit a little bit. But yeah, the real problem is if they randomly also do a throw on their jump-ins. If they're like a pressure type person that likes or a close-in type person that likes throwing when they jump in, even if they neutral jump and they never hit the throw, because they were jumping in with the throw from further away, you won't necessarily emotionally remember that, oh, on neutral jumps they always hit a button. So you'll go through for the tech and then, well, you'll die. That's part of the way the mix-ups are supposed to work. But you need to learn when to trust when your opponent is going to just do one version of something. Because at the lower levels, that's going to happen a lot. People at the lower levels don't like changing up what they're doing too much, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But overall, that's definitely something everybody should probably train. But that match was basically that plus Dwulffe having horrible spacing against Rashid. And the two made for a very bad combination. Macaulay shouldn't have too much problem against that sort of thing, though. Just gotta figure out what buttons to do against it, really.
Round one. Fight.
Alright, Guile. So I know Dwulffe is extremely unfamiliar with Guile. But, unlike the other matches that we've seen so far, he seems to be being a lot more patient about this. And seems willing to take opportunities to do Nikali's natural buttons, the things he does against everybody. So maybe he'll figure out something out about this Guile and how to fight Guile. Because you gotta start somewhere. So you might as well start what your character does best at. And that last round was exactly what Nikali does best. If they want to sit in the back, harass them. If they want to come towards you, also harass them. Basically just be a jerk. He still doesn't know what to do about Guile's sweep, though. I know he doesn't have Guile unlocked, though, so he can't practice with Guilebot. But Guilebot would solve that sort of question. Overall, that was much better play than Dwulffe has done basically throughout this entire run. So... But it was mostly from not doing anything too special, just being Nikali. And I'm a naturalist type person. I'm slightly biased against approaching things that way. But if you don't know the matchup, just do the button that you like the most. And try to use it stubbornly. Obviously not blindly, but... Oh. Well, he definitely should then. Because I don't think it would be that important for him to practice against Guilebot too heavily. But... he could spend like a day or two on Guilebot and basically get everything he needs from it. So... because Guile is not one of the matchups he needs to worry about too hard. But if he doesn't know the buttons, then... Hello, Chocolate Sauce. I like your name. Yeah, Dwulffe also needs to fix... I don't know why he jumps that much. It almost feels like a nervous habit from him. But he also doesn't use his dive kick at much. No, this is a friend of ours. We review each other's matches sometimes to see where we can get some work done. Yeah. But I think I wouldn't have as much of a worry and concern about it if he used his dive kick more. Because at least then that's sort of a mix-up.
Round 2. Fight.
That's true. What bot would you say would be good for working on his dive kick? Do you have any idea?
Guile wins.
Yeah, the first round of his Guile match, he did really well because he was willing to stay back in the corner and just use V-skill. Alright. We should probably poke him about that then. Anyway, Chocolate Sauce, who do you play? Right. Which is, as I said, that's something like he could figure out with Guilebot in like a day. But if you don't know what we're talking about, Chocolate Sauce, basically we made like a set of... Oh, you do? Well, you came to the right place, I guess. But yeah, we have like you know the playback recording on the training mode? Basically we made like a whole bunch of like robots that do specific stuff to help you train against like matchups and work out specific training vectors. So you can look at those at 2-mk.org/bots. So we have, I think we have almost 10 of them now, or something like that. We have quite a few of them now, though. We also have a Nikali bot. So, anyway. Well, what do you think our friend Dwulffe here should be doing against this Guile? Since I obviously am not a Nikali player, I am a lowly Nika.
Round 2. Fight.
Yeah, you don't get to fight many Guile either, huh? Honestly, I'm really glad that Dwulffe found this Guile, because at his rank, they're really sparse. You start seeing more of them around, like, Super Silver, but, eh. We don't really focus on gold or higher ranks, but that's mostly Venushka's job. Yeah, I don't think I've even seen that many Guile on Silver either. Do you have him unlocked, though? Ooh, there you go. Yeah, Dwulffe seems to have adapted pretty well overall.
Nikali wins.
I think the Guile got a little flinchy, though. Oh, did it? I should probably take a look at the... Well noted. Well, here's a matchup you might know a little better, Chocolate Sauce. Well, it's a shame. I technically like fighting Guile. But I should probably look at the popularity usage from last month.
Devour. Round one. Fight.
Turn on key display. What is this Ryu doing? No, I don't think I said anything like that. I was just saying that you probably have a little more familiarity with it.
Round two.
Since Ryus are everywhere. Yeah, this Ryu seems... Yeah, this Ryu is probably just a zoner. Although, really weird one.
Necalli wins.
But familiarity definitely helps you with these sorts of things. Oh, no, don't worry about it. Unfortunately, our French speaker is currently not in the chat, but I'm sure he would love to talk to you.
Devour.
Or not, he doesn't really like people, but meh.
Round one. Fight.
He does like speaking French, though. I'm surprised how good of reception we get to like European people, though. Like, I've almost had no problem fighting like UK and French people on CFN. Think of it as practice. If I knew any French, I would try practicing with you, but meh. Yeah, as much as people complain about like the lag on CFN and the bad netcode, we also get really good netcode for really weird instances. Like, I remember on Street Fighter 4, you could not fight anybody in Mexico, but now I fight people in Mexico all the time. Yeah, this is definitely a Zoner Ryu. Good reversal. It will kill me every time Dwulffe does not use V-Trigger, though. I just hate seeing Nikali sit with that much meter.
Fight.
Like, why would you not want to go Super Saiyan? He probably just needs to learn a few V cancel stuff. Yeah, he probably would like obsess about it for like a for like a week. But it would be nice to know. So if I don't know, I have no idea what that was about. Speaking of familiarity, unfamiliarity can be super bad. Stolen clown, huh? Stoic clown. Oh, they just use zoning and footsies? It's kind of unexpected, really.
Let my beauty intoxicate you.
Round one. Fight.
Well, do you got any advice against Vega chocolate sauce? Because we probably won't be making a Vega bot for quite a while.
Unshakable.
Round two. Fight.
Huh? Well, I'm asking you. Should you, try to Rising Light the Barcelona rolls, or not Barcelona rolls, that. Okay, it looks like 115 or so.
Vega wins.
But more seriously, against his wall dive, is it better to just like try to dash away from them or something? Yeah, what anti-air should you use for that? 'Cause I don't know Nikali at all. So I mean, I know his moves, but not what he should do. At least against Vega. Oh, so it is just Rising Light? Okay. Jump medium. I don't think I would have thought of that.
Let my beauty intoxicate you.
Round one.
Well, duly noted. We'll have him try that a little bit. Stoic Clown spacing has been on point, though. Oof. And that B activation punish probably cost him any chance of coming back. Aha! So like, does Medium Punch have a target combo? Or, well, Jump Medium, I mean.
My beauty is unshakable.
Round two. Fight.
Oof. But yeah, overall this Vega's just getting away with a lot because of his inability to handle wall dive. Oh, okay.
Vega wins.
Yeah, I thought that was a V-trigger thing. I didn't know you could just do that on its own.
Boom! That's how you start the fight and finish it quickly.
Devour.
Round one. Fight.
Oh, forgot the key display. What a weird Laura.
I took this round.
Round two.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you. This is definitely a zoning Laura. Ah, that cross-up was super gnarly. I wonder if... I bet Nikali could just outzone Laura, though. If she was trying to do that. Because there's a lot of spaces where she's close up, so he could probably do Stomp. I don't know why he doesn't do that move either, but... Well, I'll pass it along. Like I said, this is us going over a friend of ours matches. We like going over each other's matches sometimes to get an extra pair of eyes on it. But yeah, he definitely... I think he'll be really good once he practices his dive kick a little more. Because he really does like jumping in. So combine that with how well he is able to use his command throw. One could say it could even become phenomenal.
That's how you start the fight and finish it quickly.
Round one. Fight.
And down he goes. This Laura doesn't seem to have very many meaties, though. Oh, forgot the key display. Come on, use V-skill. It's gonna time out at this rate. Unfortunately, I don't think you can outweight a Zoner Laura if you don't have the life lead. Yep, looks like it is gonna time out.
Time over.
That was so close.
Round two. Fight.
But this Laura is obviously not comfortable once he gets up close to her. So he really probably should have just ran at her. Alright, use... or at least use Disc Guidance a little more. Oh no. He almost had it anyway.
Lara wins.
He just needs to work on his combos a little more. I didn't see anything completely wrong with his Laura matches other than the fact that this was clearly a zoner Laura, so he probably should have used disc guidance to close the space in a little more. Alright, looks like it's getting down to the last match here. But yeah, Chocolate Sauce, if you are having trouble with any of your matchups, you should probably check out those bots a little bit. I think most of the instructions should translate well enough. They're at 2-mk.org. Key display. Well, we're coming up with a Balrog bot, so hopefully we can help you out a little bit.
Annoying bastard. Round 2. Fight.
Yeah, once again, this looks like another familiarity problem for Dwulffe. Because there's a lot of places where it looks like he can, it looks like there's a lot of places he could have punished Balrog, but just didn't.
Balrog wins.
I think Balrog gets people so bad because he just has a lot of comeback power. A lot of characters do in this game, but... Oh, he does. We could probably give him, Yeah, he probably does need to work on his disc guidance a little bit. I'll probably yell at him about it.
There's no escape. Devour. Round 1. Fight.
Yeah, we probably should call the Dictator and Claw and stuff.
Round 2. Fight!
I think Dwulffe has problems with his air-to-air buttons too, because that probably would have been better for him to do medium punch than medium kick. But he went Super Saiyan and, as usual, won. There, that's what I mean by it doesn't feel like he knows how to punish by Balrog. He'll get like half punishes. Like that. That was totally free damage right there. I can't believe he won that. Oh man. All right, last match.
There's no escape! Devour. Round 1. Fight!
And there he goes. Oh, but the boxer didn't use his CA. Oh well. Didn't seem to matter though.
Annoying bastard! Round 2. Fight!
And I don't think I've seen Dwulffe really use his CA much lately. I know he used it a lot against me when I played him last, but He seems a little intimidated or something. You probably should have Raging Light there. Because this Balrog was clearly going to jump.
Balrog wins.
But yeah, we probably should make Boxer Bot for him. Because that matchup requires a lot of specific training on how to punish. Anyway, thank you for joining us, Chocolate Sauce. I'm JustVine, and this was Open Mic. We very much appreciate your Necalli insight for sure. Lots of good stuff to note for Dwulffe. Thank you, it's much appreciated. Well, till tomorrow. You all have a good night now. Or I suppose it'd be morning for you.